Hello YouTube, it is Lucas Snow from Aesthetic Interactive Studios here with a second YouTube video for Blender tutorials. In this, if you have not watched my first episode, we were covering the basics of navigation and basic animation of the cube featured in this program. Just like the first one, we are going to continue with basic things that you can do. I don't have the words right now. I'm not reading by a script, but that's okay. I've been using this software for over 6 years. I've studied in creative media productions for almost 4 years now. But in this video, we are gonna be showing you how to edit this cube, adding more objects into the scene, and how to move this cube into something a little more nicer. So to begin with, we are going to deselect everything, and just a recap on those who are just coming into these videos, I am going to be showing you again the basic navigations around the scene, because some people who are tuning into this video may not have watched the last video. If you haven't watched it, I do recommend you watch it to get a bit of an understanding. But for those who are tuning in still, just a recap. The scroll wheel allows you to zoom out and in. The middle mouse button allows you to rotate. The left shift key along with the middle mouse button allows you to pan. The left control key and the middle mouse button allows you to smoothly zoom in and out. And that is the basic navigations you need to go around your map or your scene, depending on what you're working on. To select an object, just like in the first video, you right click on your mouse instead of a left click, because those people who have used other 3D programs like Autodesk Maya, they are familiar with the left click, and in Blender it is the right click instead. So with this cube selected, we are going to edit it. To edit it, you can come down to this box here that says object mode. Left click on that, and you got a variety of different things you can do with it. For this episode, we are going to go on edit mode. What edit mode does is similar to like in Autodesk Maya, where you get to select certain parts of your object by vertices or vertex, edges, and faces. Before we actually move this object, we're going to go down to these 3 boxes down here. You got your first one, which is your vertex select. If I deselect everything, if I zoom in a bit, rotate to a point, and right click on the corner or the vertex, that allows you to grab onto the vertex, and you can do with it up and down, just like you do with moving the object with the translation tool. You can also do the same like in object mode, where you can rotate and scale, but because it's a vertex, you won't really see much effect in the rotation and scale unless you select more than one piece. We also got next to that vertex box is your edge select, which allows you to select the edges of your cube. And the last box represents your face, so you can click on your faces. So what we are going to do with this cube is we are going to try and make a door, something like the Nether portal in Minecraft, where you have to build up the doorway. That's what we're going to do with this cube in this video. We're not going to actually make the Nether portal. We're just going to make this cube shaped like a door. Oh, excuse me. I just had a cup of tea, so bear with me. But yes, that is the edit mode. You can actually change in and out of edit mode without having to come down to this box here. To enter and exit edit mode, you can also press your tab key, which allows you to go back into object mode, and you can press the tab key again and it puts you back into edit mode. What we're gonna do for this cube now is we are going to do what is called extrusion. As we select this side of the face here, you do have these in this tool section. You have your add here, which is extrude. Which you can extrude a region, individual, and stuff like that. You can use this to extrude this cube. The reason we're going to do extrusion is because if we are going to make like the nether portal, you simply just can't grab onto this red arrow, which is the x-axis arrow, and just move it across, because it does not make a new section of the cube. So we are going to use the extrusion tool. Instead of selecting the regions up here, as I showed you, I have just clicked on the extrude region. It does drag it out. And you can do it that way. But I'm not going to use that way. Just making sure it's back and it's back. Instead, what I'm going to do is I am going to use the shortcut. The shortcut to extrude a face or edge or vertex is the E key. So I'm going to press E, and that also allows me to extrude that face. Right, I'm going to press Control Z, because what I generally do when it comes to extrusion, when it comes to making symmetrical objects, is I grab this face and this face. But what's this? It did not allow it. I click on this and it doesn't click on that. The reason for this being is because I am not holding down the left shift key. If I have one face selected and hold down the left shift key and click on this face, both are selected. Now let's deselect that. If I want to select the entire box or cube in a horizontal way and not the top faces, you could simply just hold the left shift key and click on each side. But the easiest way to do that is to hold down the left alt key and just click close to the edge of the faces, and that allows you to select all the faces in a horizontal position. It works the same way if you want to go around the top part. You just hold down the left alt key here with your mouse here, and then you just right click there and it goes around it like so. Well, we're going to use the left shift key and click on both sides of the faces on the x-axis, and we're going to press the E key. Now, when you're in this position, don't move your mouse. You can if you want, but if you move your mouse, you get this kind of effect. That is not what we want. What we want to do, whilst you're in that position, just press the right mouse button, so it keeps it in that position. What we're going to do now is we're going to use the shortcut key for the scale, which is the S key. And we're going to click on the X key for moving on the X axis. Instead of just dragging it along like so, we are going to press 2. If you don't want, it is a little shorter, but if you want it completely symmetrical with the center of the center block, you can just press backspace and then press 4. I'm sorry, I mean 3. It's a lot different when it comes to scaling, but that is what you use. And then you press enter. What we're going to do now is we're going to select the top face here, hold down the left shift key, click on this next one, press the E key, press G, press Z, and then go up by it didn't work for me. Never mind. We already had them extruded. So what we're going to do is we're going to press the G, then Z, and then we're going to move that up by 2. And so far you can see that we are making a doorway. So let's go back into object mode by pressing the tab key. And as you can see, our nether portal door is coming nicely. There are ways, if I wanted to continue making this, I can either press the shift D key or left shift key and the D key, and that allows me to duplicate the object. But before we go into duplicating, we are going to add in another cube. Or should we add in a cylinder? I think we should add in a cylinder. To add in a cylinder, you can go over to your corner here where it says create. Left click on that, and you can see we've got various meshes that we can make. And you can find the cylinder. Left click on the cylinder, and your cylinder comes in. Also note that when I clicked on cylinder, you notice in the bottom left, my apologies, bottom left, that you have this come up, that as cylinder. This allows you to change how you want your cylinder to be. It's from its location, its rotation, its vertices. Its default vertices is at 32. That's how many vertices it has. You can change that to anything you want from 12 to, well, there's no limit really. But higher vertices, if you've got a low-end computer, that is going to cause a major problem with your computer. My computer is middle tier, so it can handle high vertices, but not too much. But if you're making something for a video game, it's best to keep your vertices low. For this, we're going to keep it at 32. And we are just going to drag our cylinder up to here for now. So it's like a nice floating bucket. Speaking of buckets, we are actually going to edit this and turn it into a bucket. Not a high polygon bucket, but keep it as it is. But what we're going to do is, we're going to go into our edit mode by pressing the tab key. Click on the bottom face. And we're just going to press the S key. I'm just going to scale that in, like so. As for the top, you're going to press the E key and extrude. I could do it like that, but I'm just going to right click, so I put it back to its normal position. It's still extruded, so but all I'm going to do is press the S key at the top. Going to scale that inwards like so. Then I'm going to press the E key again. Bring it down. Left click, S key, and just bring it inwards. And we got what looks like a cup or a bucket, whichever you prefer. And we're going to come out of edit mode by pressing the tab key. What I'm going to do now is I am going to go into the translation mode, or pressing the G key. Then press the X key for the X axis, and I'm just going to drag it along here. And I'm going to deselect that by pressing the A key. So that's how you add objects. There are other ways to add objects or meshes. Besides going up to this tab here in your create tab and selecting your object, you can come down to the bottom here and click on the add. Then you can go to mesh and you can select any of those meshes you want. Or if you are intermediate user to expert user, you usually would use the spacebar and type in add space. We are going to add in a UV sphere, so we're going to type in UV, and there it is, UV sphere, and press enter. Just like the cylinder, you have segments and rings. We're not going to change that for now, but we are going to drag our sphere up by pressing the G key, pressing the Z key for the Z axis, and we're just going to bring that up like so. Now we're going to press the G key again, then the X key, and then we're just going to drag it to the other side, like so. Oh, you drag that a bit like so. There we go. And that concludes this video on how to edit objects and add objects. I'm Lucas No from Aesthetics Interactive Studios. Thank you for watching.